Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Yes, your operation is just as grand as I remember from my last visit. However, I must say that your stock is somewhat disappointing this time around. I'd hoped that having frequented your establishment for the last 500 years that I would be entitled to some of your more exotic items in your inventory. Now you see, I knew that you would be hiding some exclusive pieces. You always were a sly one, even before you were turned. A quality of yours that I've always admired greatly, Mr. Vasquez. Second only to your innate ability to sense my exact desires and stock. This time around, I find myself tiring of the usual items that you provide me. They do the job, I suppose. They keep me sustained, but I tire of the monotony. I'm looking for something with a little kick. Would that be something that you could perhaps assist with? I see. The last cage on the left. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. That'll be all. I believe I can make my own way there. Yes, these corridors haven't changed once in the 3 centuries that I've been a valued customer. I'll swing by your office to inform you of my decision once I've thoroughly examined the merchandise. Until then. Last cage on the left, last cage on the left, last cage... on the left. So, you're my kick. Well, you certainly have a certain fire in your eyes, even if they are rimmed with dark circles. This must all be rather confusing for you, I imagine, to suddenly find yourself awaking in this damp, darkened, downright medieval dungeon. You look healthy enough. Good. That means that there won't be any recovery period required before you can start your duties. Mr. Vasquez's methods of procuring his goods have certainly developed over the years. I remember when he first started his enterprise, some of the quality of the merchandise he would bring in was decidedly poor. And of course, victims of struggle trying to escape their captor before being bundled into a horse-drawn carriage and then thrown in irons and, well, winding up here, kicking and screaming and clawing their entire way down the corridor. As you can imagine, that would somewhat damage the merchandise. And you're no good to me broken. However, with the advancement of our societies and the dawn of inventions like anesthetics, that problem would somewhat solve itself. Of course, it was ultimately the invention of the technologies we use today, like the internet, that have grown Mr. Vasquez's enterprise into the bustling multinational corporation that it is today. Time was, a procurer would have to circle the village for weeks, even months, biding their time and waiting for one of the many superstitious villagers to stray too far from their fields, from their charms and protections and safeties. But now, all it takes is one post on a on a website, a Craigslist, I believe it's called. Whoever this Craig is, he's signed his own fate and the fate of many humans when he created such a devious website. I mean, odd jobs attract the outliers of society. And when all else fails, you have dating apps, apparently, and all it takes is a pretty face. And human beings will throw themselves into the darkest corners of the earth looking for companionship. It's sad, really. Like shooting fish in a barrel. Of course, there are some trade secrets that old and well-established procurers like Mr. Vasquez will take to his grave, as he should. What is a procurer? Well, my dear, it's in the name. Mr. Vasquez sources unfortunate for my kind. He collects you from the fringes of society, brings you here, cleans you up a little, and, well, gives you to us. For a hefty fee, of course. I remember when one of Mr. Vasquez's products was the cheapest on the market. Now he's a big fish. And his prices certainly reflect that. However, it can't be denied that the man has impeccable taste. He always knows just how to keep his customers satisfied. And you, my dear, well, you are just what the doctor ordered. The perfect product. You're not a product. You little fool. A product is putting it nicely. You are a cattle. You are livestock, to be traded, to be consumed. You are mine, to do with as I wish. You have been, and your kind has been, for generations. Why do you think that my kind permit your perversion of the earth? After all, we are the earth's eternal custodians. Why would we allow a brood of vile, sin-ridden, hungry locusts to have their way with the earth, to mine it for all it's worth, to drill and frack and consume and fornicate and pervert the very course of nature? We allow it because in that haze of gluttony, in that fog that descends, the tunnel vision that you all adapt through greed and want and lust, it makes it so easy for us to take what we want from you. In a society that cares only for itself, we can take who we want, and the world keeps turning. We can take the man to your right and your left, and you will not lift your gaze from your plate. You are none the wiser. You truly are the most perfect cattle. We take, and we feed, and we kill. And you don't care. You don't fear us. You don't even see us coming. Who am I? Well, it's not who I am, my dear. It's what. My name is Baron Cassius Reeve. I'm 1100 years old. And I am one of the eternal custodians. I have walked this earth for centuries untold. I have seen things you couldn't possibly understand, witnessed things so beautiful that the world seemed paler after them. I have walked every inch, every street, sailed every ocean. I have shook every hand. I have stood in every notable moment in time. I have sampled every dish. I am a witness. One of the few who has seen the world, truly seen it, examined it, turned it over in his hand. I am eternal. Never wither, never age, never die. But you may know me as a vampire. And you, my dear, are my latest pet. Well, cattle is the right word. Blood bag is what's used by the new generation of vampires, though that bloodline has been somewhat diluted over the millennia. Once we were a proud few, a small circle of distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We kept our gifts sacred, pure, concealed. But as time went on, standards slipped, people became lonely. Someone would turn a partner so that they could have someone to spend eternity with, too afraid to let them go. Or someone would offer their powers as rewards for great deeds. Over time, the value of a vampire's bite became less and less and less. And likewise, so did the potency of the bite. And now the mongrel pups are everywhere, like rats, perverting the very essence of our being. They're scavengers. They're rodents. They're disappointments. But I never forgot my station. I am no vampire. I am an eternal custodian. And I will not permit a perversion to our bloodline. Of course, despite being pure blood, I still have to consume blood in order to survive. They're not on the same scale that the other lesser beings have to. Whilst a current generation gruntling of a vampire must consume blood every 24 hours to stay alive, I possess no such hunger. I can go months without feeding. Years if I limit the use of my powers and movement. No. What I seek from you is not a cheap fix, and I will not leave you as a drained corpse on the side of the road. I offer you a choice, an opportunity. You will come with me. You will spend your life living in luxury. You will eat the finest foods, drink the finest wine. You will travel. You will explore. You will accompany me to many different ventures in lands both known and unknown. You will have your freedom to an extent. However, when I call upon you, you will answer I will feed upon you, and you will not complain. Obey, and you will live a life of bliss. Or don't, and you will be bound, shackled beneath my castle in the deepest, darkest recesses of my dungeon, unable to move, to see, to breathe. True sensory deprivation, hell on earth. You will be fed scraps and shall be fed upon at my whim. For if you respond to my kindness with savagery, you will die savagely. Do you understand? You don't need to say anything. Words cheapen what I can already see. There's a fire in your eyes that tells me that you don't. And I like that. I'm going to enjoy breaking you in, my dear. I'm going to go and tell Mr. Vasquez that I've found my pet. Soon we'll have you cleaned up and carted out of here to somewhere more comfortable. Only time and your behaviour will tell if that's where you'll remain, or if your future places you somewhere deeper, darker. I guess we'll have to find out. And I'm not sure about you, my dear, but I, for one, am sorely excited to see where you're going to end up. Will you be good? Or will you be punished? And that, my dear, is the only real choice you have left for the rest of your life. Think on that, whilst I secure your release from Mr. Vasquez. And my dear, don't think about running. I have walked every inch of this earth. There is nowhere you can hide.